Hi guys, it's Nicole and I've got another Traci Reed Designs project for you today. This is for the release of Oh What Fun, and I have to say this collection is so full. When I downloaded everything and was dropping the paper images into Photoshop Elements, I could not decide on paper. Normally, I like to just print what I need instead of printing everything, and even then, I kind of had a hard time sort of making decisions. So I went with, shock of all shockers, a bunch of the fun B-sides. I love her B-sides. I think they're just so fun. And I went through, I'm still in this phase of just scrolling through sketches in my Drive and my Pinterest and just kind of finding, or not finding, but like rediscovering things that I've purchased, saved, and just kind of having fun going through there and finding some different sketches. I will link down below where I got this one from. This one might be a freebie one. I can't remember. When I started downloading stuff for Oh What Fun, I'm actually working on two layouts kind of side by side. And so I got like sketches and some of the other like specific non-collection details confused when it came time to sit down and edit videos and stuff, but I promise everything will be linked down below. This sketch features some like strips of pattern paper, and I love a sketch that kind of offers a way to have like sections of pattern paper. Like I said, I love B-sides. I love being able to see lots of the different patterns together without it being like overwhelming. I also find it fun to kind of go through and look at the sketches with a little bit different kind of filter, because I know that I don't have a wide format printer, so I know that the largest I can possibly go is going to be 8.5 by 11. So if I'm looking at a sketch that has like a 12-inch wide section that I can't cover like a seam, then a lot of times I will kind of skip that sketch if I'm going to be working with printables. But I already tend to gravitate towards anything that involves like lots of strips, lots of different like background like shapes. That's just kind of my jam. So this one I thought was really fun. I felt like it offered like more room for me to kind of bring in a lot of the die cut stickers and just kind of have fun. So I picked my like 5 favorite at the moment pattern papers. I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines on here to do some hand stitching. That's another thing that I really like to include when I'm working with printable stuff, is some of the same techniques that I use when I'm using regular scrapbook supplies. My method is to just kind of not treat it any differently. Like, yes, I printed it at home, but it still looks just as beautiful as something that you would get from like an online scrapbook store, but instead I had instant gratification at home. I will work with it and treat it the same way that I would any other collection. So I'm going to go through and match up some thread colors and poke holes and do some hand stitching. So once I got that done, I'm going to go ahead, and the rest of this layout is going to come together pretty quickly. I've got 2 photos of my daughter. She did a choir concert, and I have to check my date. This would have been 2020 or 2021. I personally am trying to work through a lot of my 2020 photos because I want to kind of get those done and, you know, be able to say I have one complete year. If you follow me, that is kind of part of my dark side challenge, and that is something that we kind of discuss in my Facebook group. But sometimes when I am planning out projects, picking sketches, pulling collections that I want to play with, I am also checking like that time period in my photos to kind of see if I can find something in 2020 that will also work. If not, it's not a big deal. I start, you know, combing. There's plenty of photos that I have not scrapbooked. I am not caught up in any sense, so It's not a big deal. It's just kind of like a secondary like challenge to myself to check there first. So I've got 2 photos. Unfortunately, she was wearing a mask, so you couldn't really see her like singing, so she kind of just has like resting face, but it was still a cute little concert, and I felt like it would go with a lot of the like images in the die cut pack. There was like a cute little like vintage looking TV and a radio. And while she's not on TV and she's not on radio, it still kind of just gave me that like vibe of what was happening with her performing. And I am just going to kind of go and find things to nestle in up above here. And there are so many embellishments. I had so much fun. I printed out all 3 sheets, cut them out on my silhouette, and then I just kind of kept making this giant pile to just dig through and have fun. Normally this would drive me absolutely nuts, but I was just loving just kind of going through all this. And even when I had printed it and put it on my silhouette mat to cut it, you know, I looked at everything. But for some reason, having it all piled up and just like a big pile of happiness to dig through was fun. I am still loving how well these older Simple Stories alphabet stickers match up with the way that my printer prints Traci's collections. These are just a really simple way for me to kind of add either a subtitle or just I like titles that have like different sizes, different colors, different fonts kind of going on with them. But I also like one of them to be a little bit more like basic or plain, I would say. And that's when the like tile letters come in. I think I've used them every time I've printed one of her collections, but they just work so well. And then because they're so small, they fit pretty much anywhere. And because they are so thin, you guys saw me put them on a scrap of cardstock. It just gives it a little bit more weight to it, and then it gives me something that I can put a foam square behind. I really like having them pop up off of everything, especially if I'm going over like different layers. So like in this case, it's going across the journaling card, which the journaling card, super easy. I actually just opened an individual journaling card file in Photoshop Elements, typed my journaling directly on it, and hit print. So freaking easy. I've got the center portion down, and then I'm just going to take a ruler and make sure that the Christmas phrase is somewhat level. My photos and my journaling card are tilted just a little bit, and I kind of don't trust myself to eyeball putting anything straight, so rulers are my friend. I'm going to go ahead and get that down. Again, those are on foam adhesive. Same thing with the word carols. The carols I printed and cut in the like gingerbread alphabet. There's no cookie theme on this entire layout, but of the different alphabets that were in this collection, I love that gingerbread font. Like, I was like, you know what? I don't even care that this isn't a baking layout. I'm using it. I'm probably going to use it again on the second layout. I'm in the phase where I'm picking the alphabets right now. It's just so cute. And I felt like with it being the neutral color, it would stand out a little bit better than like the Santa one or the candy cane one. Those ones are so cute as well. But this one, I just felt like the neutral color and like the chunkiness of the font would work out better based on the fact that I'm layering it like across the string of lights. It's also going across all those pattern papers. Like, it's so cute. Those, again, are also popped up with foam adhesive, and typically when I drop them into Silhouette, I spell out the entire word, group it together, and then I figure out basically how tall do I need it to be, like where is it going to fit on my layout, resize it, print it, cut it, super easy. From there, I am coming back in with a lot of those die cuts that I had done like a dry run of, and putting them back in here. And this is, I mean, there's so many things to pick from. I just was grabbing the things that were catching my eye and that I just loved. The florals I think are so fun to just cut in half and be able to kind of stretch those a little bit, especially if you're tucking them under where you're not going to see the whole image anyways. I really like to cut them in half and kind of stretch them a little bit. And I'm just mixing in a lot of the florals. Like I said, I used that radio and the TV. And then I just kind of stuck to some like traditional things like the hat, the letter to Santa, some of the holly leaves. And I'm just kind of filling in with different colors, different sizes, that kind of thing. The last thing I believe I did was I did grab 2 of the tiny like holly berries, and I'm going to put foam adhesive behind those as well, and I'm going to use them as kind of like little photo corners, one in the upper left of the journaling card, and then the other one I'm going to go ahead and put in the lower right by the photo over here, and that's going to be it for this layout. So I've got the photos of the layout, a couple detail shots, and then that's going to be it for this one. I will be back with a second look at Oh What Fun in a few days, and until then, I've got some other suggested videos here, and if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to join me, and until then, I'll catch you guys later.